And we are live. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Friday Night Tech Talk. I'm Mobile Geezer. You guys introduce yourselves. Go ahead,
Good
Mike.
evening.
Go ahead, Six.
Yeah, Six.
Good evening, everybody. Six. We have a lot of stuff today to talk about. I'll just leave it at that.
Mike.
Yeah, I'm Mike Dixon. I'm Simply Device. I'm the anti-Apple guy now because Will's pushed me over the edge. Okay, man. Will, when you cut Will's arm, he's gonna bleed apple juice. Okay. Oh my goodness! So that's why I'm holding up all my Android phones right now to protect me from the Apple feed.
Yeah,
Will introduce yourself.
What's going on, everybody? This is Happy Friday. Georgia's super chat is wide open.
Yes, super chat is open, folks.
Donations
virtually accepted.
Yeah.
And you know I'm Mobile Geezer. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. I still want to say Google Plus. That's long gone.
Yeah.
And normally I do an article a week at mobilegeezer.wordpress.com. I missed this week. There'll be one this coming weekend. So we've got a number of topics tonight. And our main topic we're going to start with is what everybody's been talking about all week, the upcoming Pixel 4. So, do we want to go through all these articles I put up, guys, or did we just want to talk about it in general?
I think we could just talk about it.
Talk about it in general for one.
All right. So, let's start with Mike since he made himself the anti-Apple guy. Take it away, Mike.
Well, you want me to take the first one? The renders?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're just talking about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I find it interesting that we have a render of a Pixel phone that has a big square where the camera's supposed to be. And I find it also, interesting that, what was that? Huawei Pro?
Huawei Mate 20 Pro.
Huawei Pro had a square with multiple cameras, and now iPhone came out with something like this.
iPhone
and then
11 is coming out with it.
Yes, and now you have a Pixel phone that's pretty much putting that camera in the same spot. I love, I guess somebody in the design room said I was having a lazy day and said, yeah, let's just do this one. It works. People like it on Apple, so we're going to try it over here. And it's the biggest shock was that Google actually came out and said, "Yep, that's it. Here's some pictures." What do you think, guys? That was pretty gutsy. And then today, did you guys see the somebody supposedly saw in the wild? Notice the air quotes. But personally,
I saw that.
I thought it was just somebody slapped a case. I think it was just a case.
I don't know.
No, I think
there's supposed to be 3 prototypes. I know we supposedly saw the first one that looks like a Samsung.
Right.
We saw the third one that's the one that is posted everywhere.
That's the one they revealed.
The second one we haven't seen it yet. But my problem is with the Pixel 3a and 3a XL, why would a general consumer buy the next Pixel when I would say when the Pixel 4 comes out, you could find the Pixel 3a and the XL more cheaper than it is now.
Right here.
What incentive is aside from the camera, when we have also probably Samsung's S10 line is going to be dropping on price. We have the 7 Pro, and we have other phones that will compete with the Pixel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nigel has an interesting point. A comment he's saying Huawei copyright lawsuits are coming very soon.
They're not doing nothing. Google always does this. Man. They shoot themselves in the foot. They always find a way. Just like, George always says he don't think they're trying to sell phones. They act like they're not trying to sell no phones.
Well, did you see the one article where it says, well, now it's time for them to step up and actually show they're trying to sell a phone with the Pixel 4?
Well, I agree. Wait a minute on that comment, because they're trying to sell a phone by eventually getting them into other carriers.
Right, exactly.
Now it's there for anybody. except for AT&T. If I understand it, it's available in all those places and more so than ever.
Exactly.
You know, so I mean, if anybody bought anything from the Google store for anything, I don't know about you guys. I'm getting constantly emails showing, you know, specials, and a lot of it's pushing the phone.
Right.
For Father's Day, yeah, they got some kind of sales. But I mean, I think all that they want to sell the phone. I think their marketing team and the sales, the people, they're all just all over the place because they do.
They've always been all over the place,
like
but
this is. I mean, the 3A is great, but why would you do this when you have a phone coming out? That don't make sense. Like, I don't know.
I just hope that a random video doesn't come out saying that the shipment was supposedly stolen, like the Pixel 3.
Exactly, like they did with the Pixel 3. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, what's the chances
and
of
by
Google?
by the way, for anybody wondering what we're talking about, this week was it 3 days ago? Google itself came out. If you look on Twitter under "Made by Google," you'll see that they tweeted something that says, "Well, since there seems to be some interest, here you go. Wait till you see what it can do. Hashtag Pixel 4." And it shows that big square camera hump in the back in the top left-hand corner, just like the supposed iPhone 11. So,
yeah, but one thing that they should have left, if that's the real Pixel 4, they should have left the two-tone. Remember the Pixel 3 and the Pixel 1?
Yeah, it was famous for that, yeah.
But we don't see that in this one. So
but why do you think they should have left it? Because haven't people been saying for 3 years that the two-tone looked ugly, or?
Well, they got rid of it on the 3 though. The 3 you didn't have two-tone no more. 3 was just white, black or pink. Yeah. They got rid of it. But that panda one was that one held the value the longest because everybody wanted that color.
Yeah,
so I think people did like it.
Will, people were saying that your volume was low again.
Oh man, yeah, panda.
It must be that. It must be that Apple earpiece of yours.
Well, maybe he's just got apple juice stuck in his throat. Who knows?
Well, maybe. Yeah. I put the link out there to people for that Twitter. I found it and I shared it. But yeah, shout out to Sixto Louise real quick for a super chat, $10 super chat going on. I don't know, and Night Tech is in the room. Miss Lisa is here.
Super chat.
Yeah, he popped one in there.
Pushed that super chat in early.
Oh, thank you, Six.
Yeah, I was going to say Nigel.
Yeah, he's kind to old folks.
Yeah, Nigel has been sitting in the room probably since 4 o'clock our time.
Nigel's been here as soon as he actually had sent me we talked back and forth in Instagram, and he had sent me a message saying, "When's the link going up?" And I was just hitting it, and I said, "Okay, it's up now." He was already in there. Yeah. So he's the kind of follower you want.
Yeah, yes, he is. He's a big supporter for all our channels. So thank you, Nigel.
Ms. Lisa is back, and Night Tech is in here, and who else is in here? Nigel, of course. And Alan from Phone Tech at Work is in here. I think that's all I see in here because everybody's not talking. You guys want to type something? Let us know you're there. Feel free. You know.
What's this about this one article here that the Verge posted saying the Pixel 4 is shaping up to be the Huawei Mate 20 Pro by Google?
That's just because
the camera, right?
Yeah, because it from all looks. Who's the first one that came out with that square camera? Well, the Mate 20 Pro. So it looks very much like the Pixel. Google and Apple are both copying from Huawei.
Right, and I just want to also point out too that Google seems to be borrowing certain things from certain manufacturers. I thought I read somewhere that they're going to have some kind of hand gesture like the LG.
Yes, well, a lot of people are saying they're copying iPhone.
They're copying iPhone. They're copying. They're taking ideas that already exist and applying it to their phone.
They're sticking it to the wall to see what sticks. They're throwing everything.
I mean, that's just smart business, in my opinion. Hasn't Apple done that for years and it works right well?
What? No.
You know,
Oh,
No.
Apple
wow.
takes things from other people, and
No,
later
but-
on, like
yeah,
you said, they don't innovate.
Yeah, but see, Apple does it different. Like Apple doesn't do like back in the day when Samsung would just give you every feature in the world and then
Right.
start taking stuff away. Google this year, it seems like they're doing the camera thing where they borrowed the design, which everybody trashed Apple for, but Huawei did it first and nobody complained. But anyway,
Exactly.
they borrowed the camera. They're putting the whatever that hand gesture thing is. Supposedly they were supposed to have a Pixel with no buttons, right? Wasn't that one of
Right.
the rumors too? No buttons like
Yeah.
HTC. They're
Yeah.
just I don't know. It don't matter what they do. It's still not gonna sell. Nobody's
Yo,
gonna buy
Will. Who's that company? Who's HTC?
it. Well, they released a phone, right? They're releasing a phone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
U19 or something like that. U9 or something. I know it has a 9 on it.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah, nobody's gonna buy the Pixel because they don't. I mean, if you go to the store now that they're in the store, let's say you go to T-Mobile and you got the Samsung or the Pixel, there's like no reason to pick a Pixel
Except for
besides
the camera.
But
Except for the camera.
And the updates.
Like Mike said,
Yeah.
Mike will be like, my OnePlus shoots pictures just fine, and most people say that the OnePlus camera isn't as good as the S10. So why would you choose, you know what I mean, a Pixel when it has like there's no features, there's nothing that stands out about the phone besides the camera. So if the S10, if your camera is comparable and you're getting reverse charge and all that stuff that phone comes with, why would you pick a Pixel? Google just they don't like I told you, George, they don't keep nothing in house where this is only for the Pixel.
Yeah,
So
they don't. They let it.
They
They
kill
let it
every
go.
reason you have to want that phone to
Yeah.
just want a
And-
Pixel.
And with the new OnePlus update, which did make the camera significantly better, somebody had put out one with the S10 comparison, and boy, it was really hard to pick between the two, because they're
Yeah,
that
so
close.
The Pixel is just in a losing battle, man. They need to keep stuff and leave it for the
The
Pixel.
fact that they said wait till you see what it can do is telling me, and in that article they were kind of saying the same thing. They're
But didn't they hide?
kind of putting it in your face that this is going to be something special. So they got to live up to that.
But even for the Pixel 3, when the video leaked out, they were hyping. They were like teasing the audience, and maybe what you saw in the video wasn't what we're really going to show you. And all of a sudden, they showed the phone with dark wallpapers, not even noticing the notch.
Right.
So I don't know.
Right. That's right. So anyway, it seems like this time they're kind of throwing the gauntlet down and saying, okay, we're saying this is going to be something special. So it seems like they better come with something special.
Gary said the Pixel's more than just the camera. I don't know. The updates are great, but most people don't care about updates. So when they go to the store, it's not like the carrier is just going to be like, yeah, your updates are going to be, what did he say? The first in-house design made by Google, device made by Google.
I think
Yeah,
even if you say to a general consumer, you'll get updates faster. That's the least of their worries.
Yeah,
most
they're not
people
going
don't
to care,
they
the
don't
general
like worry.
consumer.
They don't like
Yeah.
updates. The updates make problems.
Yeah,
so.
they avoid updates. That's true.
I want it. Well,
Spit it out, Mike.
I'm trying to find the right words. I just had two people. No, I just had two people that were far from being techie. They came to me and they asked me, what phone should I get? They have an opportunity to get an upgrade. And they didn't want to spend a lot of money. And I know Will's going to freak out. I know Will's going to just go, okay?
I know Mike said get a OnePlus.
No.
a Motorola.
No, he said they didn't want to
Motorola.
spend a lot of money. I know what I would say. What did you
Get
say,
a
Mike?
Motorola.
No, I said Motorola.
That's what I would say too. I would say get a Moto G7.
One of my coworkers got the G7 Power from Boost Mobile for $120. Okay.
The problem with the G7 Power is it's not as good as the G7, which is not as good as the G7 Plus.
But he has no clue about that phone. He just wanted a bigger screen and a newer phone. He went from a little 5-inch screen on a Samsung like J3
Okay.
to this. Okay, I mean it's going to be leaps and bounds. I had to show them about the chop feature. I had to show them about the twist to fire up the camera.
Right.
I showed them, the how the has the Android messaging system messenger in it, and you
Right.
shoot a picture, and all those things that we come to know
Right.
about that, and to some points here is I just dealt with two particular people that just didn't have the finances to go out and buy a Pixel.
Now, did you recommend the same phone to both?
I recommended the G7 series to them.
Okay. Okay.
Both don't have great credit, so they couldn't get any kind of financing from a Motorola site.
Right.
They felt it was too much money. My other friend went through T-Mobile. T-Mobile's offering the G7 Power.
Right.
And she's coming from a G4 Play.
Time out. Let me write you. Your mother's in here. Hi, Carol.
Oh, Mom's
I didn't
see
here
the comments.
With her knee surgery done, time for rehab. Hey, Carol, prayers are
Mom.
with you.
Yes, I'm getting the messages here. I almost jumped out. Mom's messaging us. So hey, Mom, how you doing? I told her to cop in. This way, she can have a good laugh and forget about the pain.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, right.
So, Mom.
Continue with what you were saying about the.
But now she liked Motorola, and I recommended it, and she didn't even bat an eye. She goes, "Oh yeah, that sounds like a good." Was all about it.
So did they both get it?
They both got it.
Okay, and they're both happy with it. I would guess.
Well, the one didn't get it yet. It's being mailed to him. She just told me today. And the other one I was helping him set up. Of course, my coworker. I said, "Where's your information?" Oh, I left it at home. I'm like, "Oh, come on, Anthony. I'm trying to help you out." He didn't have it backed up.
He didn't have it backed up to Google.
No. He forgot the password.
Oh,
so he has that. Yeah. He has that written at home, and he said he'll bring it in on Monday.
Okay.
So I helped him order some cases.
Now he's got a brand new phone, and he's got to go all weekend without being able to pull down his stuff.
But his stuff, yeah, he can make phone calls. Yes, he's sort of a hot mess, but I'm helping him out. But the thing is, these people just want a phone. They want a phone that, yes, it's going to be newer. Both of them will hold on to these phones. My friend Carol, who's getting the power get mailed to her. I mean, I gave her the Play, and she's at a point. She's basically filled the phone. She can't, she's at a point where she can't, So
I'm just picturing her receiving this in the mail, saying, "I got the power."
George, I'm going to play this part of the video back to her, okay? On the show,
Okay.
All right?
Now, Mike. Now, all that to say, basically, the Pixel isn't going to sell.
Right, the Pixel's not.
Nobody's going to buy it.
Nobody's going to buy it because
that this is going to be the difference, because I think where do you see what it can do? I'm thinking this is going to be the phone that they really push. That's my guess.
George, I don't think it's going to matter because all right, look.
I think it will matter now that they're in carrier stores.
They're going to put wide angle on it. But if you walk into the store, George, you got to remember, everybody said the square design's ugly. You see the Galaxy S10.
Not everybody, not me.
Hey guys, I'm going to pop out for a second, okay?
All right.
Okay.
By the time the Pixel comes, the Galaxy S11 will be announced or coming in a couple months.
Right.
And have a better processor.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Yeah, that's true. A newer processor.
You see the LG, what is that? The G8 or the V50 or whatever will be out.
Right.
They'll probably be discounted.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have a red color and all them colors. And the Pixel's going to be $1,000. What is your reason to buy the Pixel? It's not going to look as nice.
Here's what I think. Here's what I think.
But the Pixel.
But wait, George, wait. The problem is they all do the same thing. Google gives everything to every phone.
But here's what I think the difference is going to be. You could not turn on an NBA game this season without seeing YouTube TV. My guess is you're going to start seeing an awful lot of Pixel ads on TV, and LG and they're not going to be there. My guess is they're going to start pushing these ads on TV. That's where I think the difference is going to be.
But George, like the last Pixel, they pushed it. They didn't push it like this with the NBA. Matter of fact, I think they did have some kind of sponsorship or something with
They
that
had
one.
some, but they didn't have. But what? Here's my point: who sells the most phones? Apple and Samsung. Who has the most TV commercials? Oh, Apple and Samsung. I'm thinking if Google's going to go do that, they're going to be right up there with them.
But Verizon pushed the Pixels last year.
But
I
it
think
wasn't any place but Verizon.
But George, I think the reason that they don't sell isn't because they don't have commercials. I think it's because when you buy your phone, people want to go to the store and feel the phone. And so
I
if you
disagree
go
with
to the
you.
store,
If you want to sell something in this country, you put it on national TV. You're going to sell it. I don't care what you're making. That's just how it is.
When you go into the store though, okay, let's say you go to the store to buy it, and you have in your mind you're buying a Pixel, and then you see the Galaxy S10, and you're like, wow, the Galaxy S10 is the same price as the Pixel. What's the difference? And then you're gonna play with the launcher or see.
But keep in mind you're talking about general consumer. When they say what's the difference, they don't know what they're talking about. They're going to ask the salesperson. Now then it's going to depend on the salesperson.
And the salesperson's going to be like, this one has Samsung Pay and reverse charge, and it works with all your.
But are we comparing the Pixel 4 only because the Pixel 3a is going to be on stores?
Well, I'm saying the Pixel 4. Like the 4 isn't.
Okay, we're talking the 4. We're talking the 4. But the salesperson is always going to say, but this one has by far the best pictures.
Oh, you talk about salesmen at the carrier?
Yes.
Oh, don't get me started on that one.
But George, just like Mike said, Mike is like, the pictures to me are good enough. So why would you know what I mean? I don't know. To me,
but when a salesman says to you, but this one's got the best pictures, as a general consumer, you're probably going to believe him. And I would think you're going to lean that way.
I'll take a picture of both phones and be like, try to judge it from that. That's what I would do. But if I was just walking in the store, I just think.
But I don't think most people are going to do that.
I think the Pixel is boring for most people, and Google puts everything. You can get maps on every phone.
Listen, we got an apple juice guy saying the Pixel is boring for most people. I mean, come on now.
Everything is on every Android phone. There's nothing special. You know what I mean?
You're right.
Samsung has night sight now. OnePlus has night sight. Like everything.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so level on Android that the Pixel's in a tough spot. They don't have their name isn't out there enough.
And what did you just say? Their name isn't out there. Now, if I'm right, their name is now out there with Samsung and Apple.
I mean, the Pixel's name isn't big. It's not recognizable because
But if you see it on TV every day, all of a sudden it's recognizable.
No, to me, recognizable is if I go down the street, how many pixels am I going to see in somebody's hand?
No. Recognizable is TV. You can go down the street and not see as many as 10 million people just saw the same thing in their house.
How many people at your job are using a Pixel?
On my job?
Yeah.
I work with a bunch of old farts. You're lucky if they have something that's a smartphone, period.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
There's truth in that.
I bet you the majority of them are using an iPhone or a Samsung, and you probably won't find no Pixel.
And that's my point. The majority of people in this country are going to be using an iPhone or a Samsung. All I'm saying is what did that is TV advertising.
Man,
so I'm thinking if Google's smart, they're going to do the same thing.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm thinking that's going to be a difference.
It's not selling. It's not.
No, not right now.
It's going to be. It's wait, guys. I want to just say this too. The price point is got to be there.
There was Nigel with the camera.
The price point has got to be there, all right? Because now you got a Pixel. It's going for $399 and $499, right?
Right.
You got a Pixel 3a, right? Now, I'm just saying. I don't. All right. I hear the HTC came out with the phone, mid-range one, going in. Yes, it's in about the close to 500 range. You have the Motorola Motorola Ford, the Z4. That's
Z4.
That's $499 right now.
Right.
The price is going to dictate. Right now, you can go and get that Moto phone. I think for like $10 a month right now at Verizon.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now I'm looking at this article that I had put up about why Google surprise Pixel 4T's raises the stakes. In the second paragraph, the guy says that's just my prediction. This is from The Verge. But if Google is smart, it will prove me right. With the release of the mid-range Pixel 3a smartphone this year, Google has created some space for itself to make something top of the line from both a software and a hardware perspective. That's something we haven't seen Google truly do yet with the Pixel line. And if it wants to prove it's serious about making a real business out of selling hardware, it should be a priority. And this, Will, is why I think you're going to start seeing the same type of commercials as you do for Apple and Samsung.
Yeah.
I hear you, George. I still don't think it'll matter.
I'm gonna. Can I interrupt here for a second? I
Sure.
found an article there. I don't know if you guys caught me in this conversation with Android Stud. Shout out to Android Stud. Posted a article from ZDNet. And his comment is clueless. Typical T-Mobile employee. Unfortunately, it's the title of the story. I went to buy a Pixel 3a T-Mobile at T-Mobile and tried to put me off. So I'm going to read real quick the conversation that this reporter went in there, kind of like, not saying I'm into the tech business here. His whole intention was to buy a Pixel 3 or 3A. He says he found a T-Mobile store be fully, extremely cheerful, relaxed staff. In this case, was only too delighted to walk me over to the Pixel 3 display. The phones were bolted down in manacles, which is true. I never understood that. How is anybody going to get a feel for a phone when they're so locked down? I don't know if you guys. Okay. He said, "May I pick it up?" He says, "I promise." This is the reporter saying, "I promise I won't steal it." The engaged saleswoman was happy to help me and managed to at least get some of my hand around it. It was hard in the store to get the feel for the phone when it's attached to a large cable and a bulbous bulge on the back of the phone. Mm-hmm. He says the Pixel 3a felt lighter than my iPhone XR and looked slightly thinner. Mm-hmm. Yes,
which is true in both cases.
Okay. Why shouldn't I buy this phone? I prodded. Two things, the saleswoman: camera and memory. Camera and memory. Okay. The phone that doesn't have expandable storage, the 64 gigs, anyway. This wasn't quite the twosome I expected, but I wasn't going to interrupt. The salesperson goes on, the camera is just the same as one is the more expensive Pixel. The saleswoman continued. It takes good pictures. Not great, good. I heard this and I believe it. Well, almost. The Pixel 3a does come with the night sight and it is quite sophisticated thing. I thought a little bit more intrigued about the memory aspect. This wasn't something I often heard as an enticement. With iPhones, if you get 32 gigs or whatever, that's it. With Android, you can put a new SSD card and get, let's say, 256 gigs.
Right.
Okay. Well, obviously, you can't put a memory card in a Pixel phone.
Right.
And he said, okay. Then the twist. She pulled out her Galaxy S9 and began to tell me how much she loved it. Okay, what's wrong with this picture here, folks? Okay, I'm adding that part. Right. But wait, I came here to ask about the Pixel 3a. It's always fascinated me how often a phone store employee insists on the phone that they have themselves is the best phone. And how many of we've heard that before, guys?
I haven't.
You haven't?
That the employee is trying to sell me the phone that they have.
You're always a regular at the store.
The employees never told me that their phone was the best. But when I've gone in, they've been like I'm telling you, if I go in and look for a Pixel, they're gonna at the store I go to, they'll tell me like, yeah, the Pixel's a good phone. The camera's great. But then they'll be like, you can go get a S10 Plus or whatever, and you've got all these extra features. And the average person is gonna be like, I want the features. The Pixel.
Well, wait a minute. The S10 Plus costs a heck of a lot more than a Pixel 3a.
than a 3A, but I'm still talking about the 4. The 3A,
okay.
yeah. Well, he should have really directed him to the
Well, come on.
That's the cheapest phone in the store right now, right?
Right, yeah, I would
Probably.
think
In
cheapest
a carrier
good phone.
store, yeah. You're crazy.
Right.
That
So
was like Mike on Twitter. Somebody said that the Pixel 3A, I think it was they were saying that the Pixel 2A was a hard sell. I forget what
Pixel
it said.
2?
They were saying the Pixel 2 XL is like a hard sell versus, I think the 3.
That was on Twitter, right?
Yeah, I'm like,
Well,
why
that
is
makes
a
sense.
not versus the 3A when you're getting a better, you know what I mean? The chip is better. You're getting
Right.
water resistance, and
Water
you can find the 2XL for cheaper than the 3A now.
You can find it cheaper than $400.
Yeah,
What, the
for
2?
2XL? Yeah.
Yeah, you can get it
Two.
cheap.
For the 2XL,
Yeah.
you can get that cheap now.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
the
of places to get it.
the 2XL is the one that had the screen issues, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what make me stay away from it because it had lots of screen issues.
Yeah, but then you get the 2, and at least you still get the camera, the updates, and everything that Google
That's
is.
true. But the screen
So-
issues is a pain in the butt. You get the 3A, you don't have it. I haven't heard any issues at all.
So I put the link out there on
So
this.
what was the bottom line of that article?
Well, he did a great job of putting word for word of their conversation.
Right.
But he was just blown away how the person just whipped out the S9 saying this is the best phone.
Started pushing their phone. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that kind of thing. Sorry, I'm trying to read, but and there was another article I think he has highlighted in here that when he went to a Verizon store, and that was it wasn't a good experience.
Okay.
To go get a Pixel 3. So I just you guys were talking about the carrier thing, and I can only imagine what people run into. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but keep in mind now, OnePlus put their phone and OnePlus 6T put their phone in the carrier in T-Mobile for the first time, and all of a sudden their sales shot up like crazy.
Right. And then we have this price point. I was also getting to was I think the price point is going to have a big effect because I think we're going to see again of a resurgence of the mid-range phones and a cleaner OS. I mean, I don't know.
I wish the Pixel 4 would come out at 800, 900 tops, but I don't think it'll be that low.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I
999
don't think it's going to be that way either.
But that would be the thing to do with this Pixel 4. Come in at $700 or $800.
I agree.
Okay, because they're feeling the heat from OnePlus.
Yeah.
I think Google's feeling the heat from the 3A.
No, I agree. I agree.
They're gonna be feeling the heat from their own phone.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
I think I don't know if they think that people think that if it's priced cheaper.
But remember this:
good,
the general consumer, if you put the Pixel 4 and the 3A, and you say to the general consumer the 3A has a headphone jack, the Pixel 4 does not have a headphone jack.
Right.
That could be the differentiating factor that can persuade people to go with the Pixel 3A because you're still gonna get a good camera, you're still gonna get the updates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and Will and Jay Will both said from the beginning they're shooting themselves in the foot putting out a phone this good for this price.
Unless they're going to price the Pixel 4 for cheap, but I don't think they will.
I don't think they will either. I'm thinking there's some plan that it's going to be something spectacular in the Pixel 4 that the 3A and none of the phones previous to it have had. It's the only thing I can think of.
As long as they don't be like, all right, and we're releasing that feature in 3 months to every other Pixel, because then what's the point?
Well, that would be Google's.
They
history.
have to keep something to the phone. Like, I don't know.
No, you've got a point.
I don't get it. That's like when I bought the Pixel 2, they put, they gave you the features from the Pixel 2 went to the first.
Yeah, went
Pixel.
to the original
So
Pixel. That's true.
Besides the water resistance and the dual speaker, it was like. And then the first Pixel screen was better with all the issues that the second one had. So
Yep.
I don't know. Google's a mess. We'll see though. Maybe they'll release it early. With the way they're pushing everything out.
Well, no,
Maybe
it wasn't there an official thing that said it was going to come out in October. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that came out yesterday.
I was hoping because I seen MKBHD mention something. I was like, maybe he knows something. Maybe he knows.
No, I think
Yeah,
they
maybe you could just send it earlier so I can test drive it or something like that. Just
well, MKBHD can test drive anything he wants to test drive, usually, including a Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
Gary said now playing is a Google Pixel exclusive.
Yeah.
It is though. That is a nice feature, but you can get Shazam or whatever else does the same thing.
All right. Are we done with the Pixel 4? Or we have more.
I just know that Will's going to be buying it as soon as it gets out. So
yeah,
probably true.
Mike, I always get the Pixel.
Yeah, and returning 2 weeks later.
Nah, I always get it, and I gotta see, But I'll keep this one because I don't got no Pixels, so I'll probably keep it. I always,
You should get that OnePlus 7, Will. I'm telling you.
OnePlus 7 Pro is hard to beat. It's hard to beat. Right now, for me, it's the phone of the year.
I'll leave that to Rishi, Mike. Rishi got his.
Rishi got his, yeah.
That's good enough for me. Mike, you're the OnePlus 7 guy. I don't, or the OnePlus guy. I did the 6, I did the 5, I did the 3T.
The 7 Pro is a different level. It's a great phone.
Nah, I don't need the 90 hertz and all that.
I'm watching you on it right now.
I don't
See?
I don't need 90 hertz screens. I don't need all pop-up camera. I don't need all
that. Okay.
Well, not that. Just real quick. What do you guys think of the Asus Zenfone 6?
I haven't really watched much coverage on it. So
that's with the flip camera, right?
With the flip, the camera flips up.
The camera that flips both ways, yeah.
Yeah, well, it flips up towards you, but then it stays down behind it to shoot.
Yeah, so you have the same camera for front-facing and rear-facing.
Right, and it's full screen. It's full screen. So they're trying also, too, to have full screens.
I think it's a really good feature to have, but I don't think the general consumer will look at it and say, I'll buy this because of the moving parts.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's what people always are. But then again, some of us fell in love with the OnePlus 7 Pro, and it's got the pop-up camera, and no problem.
Yeah. So, okay, right. I'm done.
Moving on. 6, you wanted to talk about the Pro thing, so lead us into that.
Yeah, I've had my thoughts on what really is a Pro device from your guys' opinion, because we're getting these, the Note 10 will come out with a regular Note and a Note 10 Pro, which I'll read something and I'll see what you guys have to say.
Okay.
The Galaxy Note 10 Pro will follow in the footsteps of the brilliant OnePlus 7 Pro and adopt a super smooth 90 Hz display. Instead, ICE confirms it will be a 60 Hz display, a panel, which is frustrating when Samsung will ask well over $1,000 for the Note 10, and the OnePlus 7 Pro is selling for $699. So,
or $669.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I guess that people are using the Pro naming to justify spending $1,000 plus.
Now, of course, when you put Pro on something, you have to put something on there that's not in the quote unquote regular, right?
Or take something out, because the iPad Pro is supposed to be a professional device, but it doesn't have iPhone.
But when it comes to phones, when they make like the OnePlus, there's a OnePlus 7, which doesn't get sold in America, and there's a OnePlus 7 Pro. Well, the OnePlus 7 Pro has better and more features than the OnePlus 7. And I think that's pretty much always the case with phones, isn't it?
Well, if the 7 Pro,
Thank you, Will.
Yeah.
If
Go ahead.
if the 7 Pro didn't have the name Pro, if it just said 7 Max compared to the 7, you would still think the Max would sell better than the 7 regular?
If it had more features, yes.
If it didn't have,
Okay. Yeah, as far as I know, I've never seen a Pro version that had a standard version that didn't have more features or better memory or better something. You know.
I think the problem with the Pro name is like let's say iPhone or iPad. The iPad Pro comes out and you think professional, or the MacBook, you think
Right.
like it's for professional.
And that's what Apple wants you to think, and that's what you're supposed to think.
But it's dumb, because when I had the MacBook, maybe it was the 2015, I had SD card slot, if I remember right, the USB, the regular slot, and now
Thank you,
get
Sean.
The new one. You get the new one, you only got 2 USB C ports, or the MacBook Pro.
Right.
All that, I mean, the iPad Pro, for all that time, you couldn't you couldn't really take advantage of it versus a regular iPad. So what's the point of calling the Pro model? Just so
Yeah, but
not. It's like they're doing it to sell it,
but in Apple's
features.
case, what's the new $6,000 cheese grater? What's that called?
Oh,
The iMac, isn't that the iMac Pro, the Mac Pro?
iMac Pro,
that.
and
Yeah.
they made it a
That
real
one.
pro
Yeah, but-
device, because they made this device for real professionals. That's why it's $6,000.
But that's what we're saying. So they named the iPad Pro and the MacBook Pro Pro device, but they didn't give you
Right.
professional,
Yeah, professional
they didn't give
level.
you-
Now
they
they
didn't
are.
give you ports that you, but I think that's
But
the
I
problem.
but I
Like,
think you guys are making a mistake comparing iPads and laptops. To me, the Pro thing on a phone automatically implies something better than regular. And as far as I know, that's always true, unless you guys know
I
where.
guess. Yeah, for a phone, I guess. But
Yeah.
Well, what Pro phones have we had though? Besides,
Well, we got the OnePlus 7
Well,
Pro, which is hot
the-
right now, and it's
Yeah.
certainly better than the OnePlus 7.
Yeah,
is that our first quote unquote pro naming phone?
I think.
From OnePlus,
so.
yes.
No,
I
just
think-
in general.
I think that's
Oh
the
no,
first Pro
no,
phone.
I'd say,
no.
yeah.
There's been a whole bunch of Huawei Pro phones, and they're
No.
always better than the lesser one.
Okay.
I guess.
The P30 Pro, the P20 Pro,
Right. Well, now,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, that's true. But then we Americans don't know that. We're not aware of that. So now, what I'm saying is now the pro is the hot word.
Yeah,
It's
and
the hot
I
thing.
think that's probably because in OnePlus's case, this is the first time Americans have seen a Pro phone, because the other Pro phones are mostly Huawei, and they're not in
Right.
America.
So give it to Samsung to try and one up them, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, any more? Six or Will?
Well,
That's
Six,
about
what
it.
do you think, Six? Do you think about the Pro thing?
I don't know.
You're saying it's hype, and I think it's worth the price in the phone. You're saying it's hype?
I don't think it's hype, but if you compare, let's say, because I've always thought that the Note series of phones
Mhm.
were the Pro
Mhm.
series compared to the S
I agree.
series, the Galaxy.
agree.
Now we're getting a Note 10 Pro, so I'm skeptical. Like, what more can you add to a Note? I'm thinking that there were like rumors of the S Pen having a camera. Maybe that would be the Pro feature. I don't know, because aside from 5G, you're telling me that 5G is now a Pro feature?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They're just
and,
gonna start
and are we
holding stuff
getting
back
an
put it on
a
the
Note
Pro.
10 regular and a Note 10 Pro, or not?
Yeah, that's what the rumors are. We're getting a regular Note 10
Right.
and a Note 10 Pro. So I'm thinking, what more could you add to the Note that will make it more feature rich?
Make it worth spending the money for the Pro version. Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking Samsung knows what they're doing. I gotta think they're gonna put something in there that makes it worth it, I would think.
Mhm.
Yeah, a bigger battery, I would say, a faster charging, a faster wireless charging. But is that worth, a $1,000 plus, maybe 1,500. I would say that would be the price for it.
Yeah, I would think at least 1,400.
Yeah.
I wish I would. They're gonna just do like you said. They're gonna start holding stuff back just to be able to call the other phone.
You call the other one a
you know.
pro, yeah, and that kind of
That's
makes
all.
sense too. If that strategy
Yeah.
works in
Yeah.
sales.
That's all. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's like the general consumer is kind of confused though. And it depends on the company. Like I think the way Apple does it is wrong, saying that this is the MacBook Pro is a pro model, but you're not giving the person the ports that they need or
Yeah.
I think that's dumb.
What's today's date? June 14th. We thought Apple did something wrong. Now that's got to be noteworthy.
No, but one thing that I've always criticized, no, not always, but since I've had this MacBook Pro,
Right.
it's a pro device, but they give you a 720p camera, a webcam.
Isn't that ridiculous?
That to me, yeah, that's like,
yeah. Well, look at that's what everybody was saying at the thing. People were like, what is it called, George? The Mac Pro or whatever, the big computer. It was like it doesn't have a webcam, it doesn't have speakers, and everybody's
Right.
like, well, we have our own speakers,
Right.
we have our own setup for all that. Which is, you can understand that. But yeah, if you're buying a laptop that they basically want the general person to, the general consumer to buy
Right.
it and give you 2 ports on the side, and one of the ports you use to charge the MacBook, like that's crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
but I also think that pro naming will work for the salesperson, because if a normal consumer goes to a T-Mobile, he'll say, well, we have the pro model that takes better pictures, bigger battery, maybe throw in faster quote unquote updates, and probably that person will buy it, the pro version.
But Six, you see how they did it with the iPad Pro. The iPad Pro camera is crazy compared to
No, that is true,
iPad.
but are there really people aside from professionals taking pictures with the iPad?
Yeah, you never seen the people when you go.
Yeah, no, you do see
I see people
taking pictures with an
all the
iPad.
time. It looks ridiculous, but the camera on the iPad, was that the 2018 or 2017, is the same camera from like the XS and XS Max.
Yeah.
Like the camera's crazy. It's got portrait mode. You got, but I think they did it right with the iPad, but with the computer, they should just the one MacBook should be the MacBook, and they should get rid of the other one.
Well, thank you, Mike.
Because the Pro name on this one, like the one I got, is crazy. Seeing that I got 2 USB-C ports and nothing else, like.
But I also see it as, let's say, like in gaming. I'm a big gaming fan, so they have the PS4, the PS4 Pro. But if you really want to get the Pro experience, you have to buy a 4K TV, because you're not really going to get that much of a better experience if you have a PS4 Pro with a 1080p TV.
That's true.
Let's say the Xbox came out with the regular Xbox, and then the Scorpio edition, which is quote unquote the most powerful console ever. If you really want to enjoy the full horsepower of that console, you have to spend a considerable amount of money to get a 4K TV.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that they're again doing the pro naming so people will buy into that. So
buy into it. And,
getting quote unquote special features and special treatments.
For anything 4K. I mean, I make 4K videos and I can put them up on YouTube. And when I look at them on my 4K TV, they do look a heck of a lot better, I have to say. Except when YouTube uploads it at some lower.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Okay. So, we ready to move on?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing that struck me this week was facial recognition and privacy. And it seems to me this kind of stuff with AI and facial recognition is going to start becoming a big deal. So I wanted to put this article in there. And this article is from CNET. And it says, this is the first one I saw. AI experts want Amazon to stop selling facial recognition tech to police. It says Amazon's facial recognition tech is again under fire. AI experts on Wednesday drew attention to a movement calling for Amazon to stop selling its facial recognition software, dubbed recognition, to law enforcement. So far, 27 researchers have signed an open letter published March 26, criticizing Amazon for overlooking other research studies into its recognition software. The group is also demanding that Amazon halt sales of its software to the police. The signers include scientists from universities, Google, Facebook, as well as AI scientists like Yoshua Bengio, a winner this year of the prestigious Turing Award. Don't ask me what that is. We hope that the company will instead thoroughly examine all of its products and question whether they should currently be used by police, wrote the researchers in a letter. We call on Amazon to stop selling recognition to law enforcement as such legislation and safeguards are not in place. The open letter came after Amazon's Matthew Wood and Michael Punke, I guess it's Punke, wrote several blog posts attempting to refute the results of a study conducted by, I cannot pronounce this lady's name, Inolua Deborah Rashi and Joy Bolamwini.
Wow.
Yeah, according to the letter. The earlier study said Amazon recognition program has much higher error rates when it's trying to recognize the gender of darker skinned women than light skinned men, and why put it out there? Amazon didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. The ACLU has also released a statement supporting the researchers. Face surveillance gives governments unprecedented power to track, control, and harm all people, but especially communities of color, immigrants, religious minorities, and others long subject to surveillance abuse, said Matt Cagle, attorney at the ACLU. Companies seeking to profit off this menacing technology cannot ignore and outsource responsibility for the harms of the system they build. They must stop selling face surveillance to governments entirely. And I kind of agree with that, guys. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
No comment, Mike?
No comment.
You're shocking me.
I mean, it's crazy that, I don't know. It's scary, I guess.
Yeah, I think it is scary. Is it just me, or does this sound like 1984 Big Brother kind of stuff?
Skynet.
Well, now you got Skynet. Yeah.
Skynet.
Now you got facial recognition issues. Now you got privacy concerns. You got your stuff out there on Facebook that they can get your passwords and all your information.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah. It just seems to me this kind of stuff is becoming a bigger and bigger deal, and it's going to continue to become a bigger and bigger deal.
And on top of that, it's faulty though too. You said that didn't recognize basically even just the gender, let alone the color of their skin.
Right. Exactly. So it sounds to me like they're selling very erroneous crap, which would probably lead to the wrong people being arrested. I would think. Yeah. So anyway. That was just one of the, oh, shucks, I just lost my article. Mike, can you see the next article that I put under there?
Welcome to VoiceOver. VoiceOver speaks descriptions of items on the screen.
Who is that?
I am VoiceOver. I am VoiceOver.
Are you sure that's not Skynet?
Oh, man. Nah,
No, that was the AI just talking to you there, George.
Okay.
They're going to erase your voice.
Oh, man.
Your voice is in my head. Okay.
The next one is, hold on, I'm trying to get it loaded up. Something about, let's see here. What Sony Robot Dog teaches us about biometric data privacy.
Right. Now, check that article out, because this follows this one up pretty closely.
Let's see, I've got my computer. Come on, man.
This is also on CNN.
Here we go. I'm watching Albo. This
Aibo. Yeah, that's a cute robot dog from Sony.
dog.
Yeah.
Robo dog scuttling around the office, its mechanical joints making slow, noisy work of it on the concrete floor. But I can't help but be mildly heartwarmed. I rather have a real dog here than something that's charming about Alpo. Alpo, the dog food, huh?
Eyeball.
Yeah. The 2900 pup is a companion robot. One of Sony's claims learns its environment and develops relationship with people. Albo even enlist a camera on its nose to scan faces and determine who's who, so it can react to them differently.
That's the first bad sign, in my opinion. Go ahead.
Because of our office pets face detection capabilities, Sony doesn't sell Ibo in Illinois. The state's Biometric Information Privacy Act regulates the collection of biometric data, including face scans. So Ibo is out in the land of Lincoln. It's out of the land of Lincoln, but
and the Lincoln is the nickname
for Illinois. But the story doesn't stop there with Sony's quirky robot. Illinois also has limits accessing to facial recognition in home security cameras, a feature that is becoming increasingly prevalent in consumer security market. Let's take a closer look into BIPA.
That's the acronym for the Illinois state.
The growth of biometric tech in consumer products and how other states in the United States treat your biometric information. So that's right there. And so in other words, that gives these tech companies, I mean, heck, do my face scan, they have my face.
That's true. But so like it goes on to tell us that the latest Nest Cam IQ indoor, okay? That camera can read your face. And of course, the idea is they start knowing who the people in their family are, who your friends are. But in Illinois, they have to turn that off so it doesn't work in that state because they don't like the fact that it can read people's faces. This stuff is going to start becoming kind of scary, kind of Skynet, kind of 1984, in my opinion.
Did you see when this all started? The state senator Terry Link for Illinois' 30th district introduced the Senate Bill 2400 on February 14th of 2008.
2008. I was surprised at that. That goes way back. We're talking 11 years ago.
Right.
Somebody saw what was coming, I think. You know.
So did somebody go back in the future and tell them, "Hey, you want to write this law?"
Yeah, but, I mean, it's kind of scary stuff, don't you think?
Yeah.
Especially if they're selling it to law enforcement. You know.
They filed an amendment to the law in 2016 to redefine biometric identifiers to make it easier for collection of certain biometric data, but later withdrew the amendment.
Right.
It goes on to saying here. Okay, so Sony support page says, why is Ibo not for sale in Illinois? And simply says, due to state regulation and policy, Ibo robotic companion is not for sale in the use in Illinois. Anybody seen this dog for sale?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've seen it in ads. I've never actually seen it in the store. I'm sure you can just go buy it though. But it's $20, you know.
Yeah, it says here, in order to mimic the behavior of actual pet, Ibo device will learn and to behave differently around familiar faces. To enable this recognition, Ibo conducts a facial analysis of those observed through its cameras. The facial recognition data may constitute biometric information under the law of Illinois, which places specific obligation to parties collecting biometric information. Thus, we decided to prohibit the purchase and the use of IVO by residents in Illinois.
I think that's a smart move myself. What do you guys think?
Well, you can't. You're going to sell a dog and it works half. A robot dog works half the time.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't take your picture. I mean, one of the key features of this thing.
The fact that it's
It don't work.
data, your biometric data, where is it sending that data? That's the key thing here. Who's getting
Right.
that data? Is Sony getting it? I gotta think they are. And what now? I don't know that they would, but they could just turn around and sell that data to somebody, or sell it to a police department, or sell it to the FBI.
Right, the NestCam IQ Indoor has I'm reading here, the NestCam IQ Indoor has an optional feature called Familiar Face Alerts that you pay monthly or yearly fee to access the NestCam Nest Aware service.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy. That NestCam, you got to pay for each camera for that feature.
Yeah, I know. Don't you have that, Mike?
Yeah, I know. I have the cameras. I have two. When I went to go look, I was like, let me see about it. I thought, I forget, it was like, $50 a year or something
Mike,
like that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I have the NestCam for 4 or 5 years now. I'm not paying for that.
They had it on sale the other day, and I seen everybody was like commenting, and they were all like, "It's basically useless if you don't pay for the service." And I think whatever Google's doing with this Nest thing, I don't know if that's what's messing up my Google Home and my thermostat, because I have a Nest thermostat. And maybe like 2 weeks ago, I know Google had like an outage, and
Yes,
it started
it did.
working
And it messed up the thermostat and the cams and
Yeah.
Google Home and something else too, around in different places around the world.
So,
But I disagreed that if you don't buy the service, that the camera is useless, because it allows me to look in my living room and vision whatever I want to.
not useless, but they were saying like the price that you pay for the Nest one, you can get a cheaper one, and I guess it has whatever features that you're paying for with Nest. I don't know. I don't got one, but like my thermostat now is crazy. Like every time I tell it to do something, it's like there's a problem and we can't communicate. But it'll do what I told it, but it always gives me that message. I don't know.
Okay, so it's telling you there's a problem and it really isn't a problem.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened to it, but.
Well, George, you know why it's got a problem? Because he's using an iPhone.
No, I'm using my.
I mean, the company that's the father, the parent company of Android, you're trying to use an iPhone. I mean,
I'm using my Google Home. It just doesn't, it's just crazy.
Oh, homie, don't play that.
I guess not, George. I guess not.
Yeah,
anyway, so I just think this whole facial recognition stuff and collecting your biometric data is starting to become a big deal. And the article does go on to say there's a bunch of other states that are talking about passing laws, having more control over what stuff. And then the NestCam feature won't work in Illinois. And where else? There's a bunch of other Texas is established a law in 2009, so they're right behind them in 2008, similarly defining biometric identifiers, especially for retina and iris scans, fingerprint, voice print, or record of hand or face geometry.
You see who's in the room, George?
No. Oh, Joseph?
Yeah. He said he's just chilling and trying to behave.
Now,
So
you know you don't know how to behave. Come on now, brother.
Come on. I know. Just don't talk about the accent on the M. Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait a minute.
No, here we go.
Oh man.
Oh no.
This is for you, Joseph. Just for you, completely for you. I can't help it. So you guys bring up Jersey in me.
That phone stirred up all kind of problems.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Nancy to see. There you go. He says, no.
Yeah,
Not that word.
not the X on him.
Yeah, Forrest was about to turn into a Hulk. Yeah.
Oh, you should have seen him in Team 100 yesterday. He went off for a few minutes and then he stopped himself. He says, "I'm not talking about the XNM anymore."
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to bring up that it seems like this whole facial recognition, biometric scanning stuff is starting to become a big issue, and my guess is it's going to continue to become a bigger and bigger issue. So that's just my opinion. Now, going on, I have the trade war stuff next as the next story, or we can go on to the Note 10. Which one you guys prefer?
You got the Google stuff with China, right?
Yes. And if you're gonna
But
go
it's-
with that, you go ahead and read that one.
All right. Google to stop producing some of its hardware in China. This is from Android Central.
Yeah.
The most recent trade spat between the U.S. and China has been ramping up lately with increased tariffs, a ban on Huawei using U.S. technologies, and China threatening bans of its own. In response to the tariffs and an increasingly unfriendly Chinese government, Google's parent company Alphabet has begun moving production of its U.S.-bound motherboards and Nest hardware out of China. According to some sources, speaking with Bloomberg, Google has moved much of its U.S.-bound motherboard manufacturing to Taiwan. The shifts comes in response to a 25% tariff placed on the import of printed circuit board assembly products. The motherboards are most commonly used in servers for Google data centers to power some of its most popular and profitable services, including search, maps, cloud services, and much more. Let's see. Other companies that operate large data centers, such as Amazon, Facebook, and Microsoft, haven't felt the sting of the tax so far because whole server racks are not affected by the tariff. Since Google assembles most of its U.S.-bound servers in Mexico, it would have been one of the companies impacted most by the 25% tax. However, the chairman of Wistron Corp, the company which makes servers for Facebook and Microsoft, recently said that it is currently looking to shift some of its operations outside of China as well. That's not the only product moving its production, though, as the source also mentioned Google is shifting manufacturing of its US-bound Nest products to Taiwan and Malaysia.
So seems like this whole Huawei thing and China thing overall is affecting more and more companies, and since it's going to start costing them more money to ship their own products into the country, they're going to move them where it's not going to cost them that. So that kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah, they want to make as much money as they can.
Yeah, and they're trying to.
As long as
they're keeping themselves out of this trade war as much as they can, I guess.
As long as the quality don't go down, I guess.
I'm surprised I didn't see Korea, South Korea in that conversation, or Vietnam. I've seen phones. I know LG done things out of Vietnam.
Yeah, you would think Vietnam would make sense. I would think it just might be more expensive to make it in Korea than Taiwan, is my guess.
Okay. What are you laughing at, Will?
Nothing. Nothing.
Oh no. They're being bad boys. They're
No, I'm just laughing at it.
oh man. Let's see.
Nigel says, Forbes, you never behave
Oh,
yourself.
man.
Forbes says, never, Nigel.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay. So that was it.
Oh,
Now, let's go on to the Note 10. Six, you want to take the
God.
Note 10 story?
Yeah, this is from The Verge. Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Pro renders reveal giant screen and no headphone jack. Rumors have already been hinting at it, but renders published by OnLeaks and Price Baba a few days ago suggest that Samsung's upcoming Galaxy Note 10 will feature an all-new design that marks a substantial evolution from the Note 9 and other recent models. And this year, the Note will come in two sizes, a giant 6.75-inch Note 10 Pro and a 6.3-inch Note 10, both sharing the same overall look. Samsung is inching closer to a true edge-to-edge display, filling the front of the Note 10 with even more screen than before. It extends further at the top because Samsung is seemingly moving to a hole punch look with a center-aligned selfie camera. The cutout really draws my eye in these renders, more so than the right-aligned front camera on the Galaxy S10 line, but hopefully it will be more subtle in the final product. On the plus side, Samsung is no longer wasting space and extending the cutout with a depth sensor. And even better, the company has nearly eliminated the phone's bottom shin with an even smaller sliver of bezel than the S10 has.
Cool.
Also evident in these renders are sharper corners compared to the Galaxy Note 9 and 8. Let me see. And around the back, a trio of cameras similar to the S10 setup, but this time oriented vertically. The Note 10 Pro will have a 3D time-of-flight sensor similar to the Galaxy S10 5G, while the smaller Note 10 will omit the extra bit of hardware. With last year's Galaxy Note 9, Samsung introduced some S Pen tricks, such as the ability for the stylus to serve as a remote camera shutter or control music playing on the phone. We should learn much more about what the company has to come up with on 2019 sometime in August at Samsung usual Summer Unpacked event.
What I found strange about it is when he mentioned the difference in sizes between the Note 10 Pro and the regular Note 10, doesn't really tell us what's really different about them, right?
But he also compared, exactly, not that much different, but he also compared the Note 10 Pro getting some of the features that the Galaxy 5G, which is basically, like 5G is what I said earlier, like the Pro version of phones now. If you have a 5G phone, you're basically getting the Pro version.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
he also said that it kind of gives the device a Nokia Lumia vibe, and it does kind of look like that, you know.
But I don't know. I mean, the Note 9 is still a very good phone, so
yeah,
you can still get a very good, a very.
So
I don't know.
So the end result is nobody can afford it unless they do come right out and do a trade in your Note 9 from last year. We'll give you $400, $500, $600.
Yeah, you got to believe they're going to be doing that.
I'm sure they will. Yeah, $650 probably.
The phone's going to be ridiculous in price. So
this year's iPhone will be even more ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
yes,
because it's Apple, they say we'll add a third camera. Let's add $500 to the price.
Yeah.
And we'll have it with USB Type-C now. So those are some of the rumors that the new iPhone.
Yeah. So now there's their reason for jacking it up.
6 USB-C is the Pro model iPhone. That's not all.
Yeah, here we go.
They're not all getting USB-C.
No, but it wouldn't surprise me if by 2020 we'll see an iPhone Pro, because that supposedly is when. Well, I haven't read any articles, but
5G,
looking at Apple's track record, they keep the same design, usually 3 years. And when 2020 hits, supposedly the iPhone is going to change. We'll probably see a smaller notch with a Pro name on it.
Or a pop-up camera.
I don't think Apple's going to do that. But no.
I see a pop-up camera in a Note line or Samsung.
On an iPhone, I think.
No, we're talking about iPhone though.
No, yeah, I don't see it though.
And they'll probably bring back Touch ID.
So there's a lot of talk about that.
Yeah, so that'll be more of a reason to make it an $1,800 Pro phone.
Yeah, it makes sense.
2 cars. You can buy 2 cars or get an iPhone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
1,800 will be the 64 gig model.
True that.
Oh man.
True that.
You know,
Yep.
Apple's they gotta get your money somehow.
Yeah.
It was just
Speaking of-
interesting.
Speaking
Go
of
ahead.
like the 5G and all that, did y'all see? I forget who it was. Somebody on Twitter was talking about like Stadia, and he was saying how basically in a month, I think you'll be pushing your cap or whatever on your data. See, I never really
Yeah.
paid attention because, you know, with streaming the games and all that.
Right.
And then somebody commented like, it's gonna be like that too once you get 5G. Like they're gonna throttle you quicker.
Yeah, you got to believe that. That's probably
So
true.
That's crazy. And they were doing the math, like adding up how much Stadia is gonna cost you over 5 years, and it came out to be more than like the cost of just buying a console.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I'm not sold on Stadia yet. I'm more of an old school type of guy that I want to have a console. I want to have games that I can touch, not digital that I can just buy. I
Right.
still go to I still buy off Amazon physical discs. I still go to Walmart sometimes to buy the physical disc because I want to feel a certain type of ownership. Even
Right.
if the game gets updates, I
And
still
that's where
want to.
Stadia wouldn't work for you.
No, it wouldn't work
Yeah.
for me because I don't.
Okay.
Because they don't have exclusive games. Some of the
Right.
games that I can play on Stadia, I can play on a PlayStation. I can play on an
Right.
Xbox. I can play on a Nintendo Switch. That's
Right.
even more portable. So
I
to
got
me,
a comment. Got a comment here from Gary Brown, Bad News Brown. Buy a Samsung Note 10 and get a Samsung Fold for close to free. I thought that was good.
Oh,
You
God.
know.
Yeah, Stadia is gonna be a mess. Like I did that network test thing, and it said I passed, or said I should have a great experience. But knowing how my internet is, yeah, right. There's no way. Like dude, that thing is I can't see it not lagging. And like I was telling Mike earlier in the week, I think you can't get it in Hawaii and somewhere else because
The plane is not going to lag, so they say. So. Jason Gill had a couple of comments about agreeing with you guys about the pop-up camera. Said the pop-up would kill the IP68 and the moving parts, the water would rush in. And yeah, he's right. Okay.
I see what you're saying because of for the IP rating.
Right. Okay. So that was a Note 10. What was our next story?
The Galaxy Fold.
Oh yeah.
But did you guys see? Did you guys see? Huawei said I think they pushed back their release date on their.
They're delaying the Huawei Mate X, and they're saying I saw something that said they're saying it's because of Samsung's problem with the Fold, but I didn't see the article. Did any of you read the article that mentioned that?
No, I just in passing. I saw I saw about that. Let's see.
And I said that from the beginning. As soon as Samsung had all those problems with the Fold, I said this is going to hurt Huawei because people are going to think Fold problem, and that's exactly what happens.
I found an article that says Huawei delays launch on folding. Let me see, folding smartphone. The firm said it wanted to conduct extra tests following screen problems reported by early reviewers of Samsung Galaxy Fold. Both firms have unveiled the device in February, but Huawei said it wanted to be cautious.
I don't blame them after what Samsung went through.
Yeah, that's from BBC.
Okay. So that makes sense. So the only reason I threw that in there is because I'm saying, okay, at least because AT&T pushed back the launch of the Fold at AT&T, and so a lot of people are saying, well, is the Fold dead for good? It's starting to seem that way, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not looking good right now.
Yeah,
it's not looking good.
So
I just think that if MKBHD took the Galaxy Fold, and he knows a lot about tech, and he just peeled off the screen.
Yes, he did.
I don't even want to imagine what a general consumer will pop it open and probably give it to a kid, and the kid will fold it all the way out.
Oh yeah, it's true. It's true. So I'm beginning to doubt if anybody's going to come out with the folding phone.
So, George, you mean to tell me the true folding phone is the Axon M?
Hey, the Axon M actually folds. All right, you're gonna make me turn it on and everything, huh?
No, you don't have to turn it on. That's okay. That's right. I'm looking at see here. I'm waiting for Forbes to come through my phone on the comments, like come to grab my throat.
All right, it's booting up. So as Flossie would say, talk amongst yourselves.
That's fine. But you think about it. The most current phone that's a fold right now is.
Right. It actually folds. Look at that. It's
that
booting
click.
up.
Is that a click? Is that clicking? That clicking sound pretty
Here
satisfying.
Here you go.
Yeah, nice hinge, isn't it? Yeah. See.
It actually works.
Nothing's peeling up on it.
No.
I know you don't.
No, because nothing's
so.
peeling up on it, so that makes it very appealing.
Yes.
Wait.
Okay, thank you. Well, Six is ready. He's stepping in like Adam here. All right.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good, Six. Nice job.
Yeah, you got to tell Adam that Six is moving in on the territory.
I will. Yeah.
So see, Mike started this. Remember, Joseph, Mike started this.
I'm sorry.
I didn't mention the act on them again.
Mike
is just needling you.
I'm just
it does take a while to boot up.
That's fine. Fine.
Nigel says, what about the Motorola folding phone?
I thought it was a rumor.
The Razor, isn't it? Yeah. I mean,
I thought it was like a rumor, and they found out that they copied somebody's video or something like that.
Oh, really? Okay, I haven't heard anything about it.
I think like a fan or somebody made that video and then they stole it and used it.
No way.
We talked about it not long ago. I think like
I don't remember it.
We talked about it. I don't remember when it was. It was like a month ago or 2 months ago. They said somebody stole the design. Like they took somebody's concept video and used it.
Okay.
Yeah, but the person didn't sue.
It actually a folding phone that actually works. As a matter of fact, if I pull up YouTube on this thing, it's still doing all kinds of boot stuff.
All right, I got a question for Will when we're done this one.
What's up?
Okay, well I know you're playing your folding phone, but why?
Who's playing with your folding phone? Not me.
No, I'm talking about George. No, Will, why?
Look at that YouTube spread across the whole phone.
With a big thing in the middle. I couldn't do that line down the middle.
When I actually watch YouTube videos on this thing, I stop even noticing it, and that is true.
Yeah, I
Will,
do it.
why would Apple allow another sign-in option to sign into a phone?
What?
Yeah, what
do you mean? You mean to sign in with Apple?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Why would they allow what? Like Facebook or Google to still be there?
Yeah. Why? Okay. I'm just saying. Google says Apple's new sign-in button is a good idea. I mean,
well, because what it is, Mike, is you know how now you can sign into pretty much anywhere with Google, Facebook, or I think that's it. Like to authenticate your account, so you can skip the sign up, right?
Okay.
Apple's is better, and the Google guy tried to, if I remember, I read that article a while ago. The Google guy was kind of saying like he didn't like how Apple was tried to make them look. But if you think about it, Apple was right, because Google could have did the same thing. Apple basically is saying you're going to be able to sign in with the information that Apple already has, the same way you do with Google or Facebook. But once you sign in, and you can choose to do it, where they'll give you like a randomized email that is not going to be, it's not going to be in your inbox. But if you get emails, let's say on your Facebook account, they'll send it to that iCloud email, and then they'll forward it to you, so that Facebook won't have your data, or whatever site you use sign in with Apple for won't have your data. You know what I mean? So it's like, to me, it's good. You're saying, why would Apple allow it? Because they really don't have a choice. But what their suggestion is that, well, they're kind of basically forcing the developers, where if you're gonna have sign in with Facebook and sign in with Google, you have to have sign in with Apple, and you have to have it as the first option.
So they're saying that it works somewhat like Google Pay, because when you're putting in your number, they're not really seeing your number; they're seeing a randomized number.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, but you have a choice. But it's good because, like, I know Facebook sometimes they'll send you notifications. Like, I got my kids on the Messenger or whatever, so if they get a message, it'll email me. But with that thing, anytime you want to just discontinue it, basically you just discontinue that email, and you won't get notifications no more. And your information is safe, not like how Google is doing it, where it's coming to your Gmail. They make you like a burner email address.
Right. Okay.
And you can have a different one for every. Basically, you have a different one for every website that you sign into. So the guy kind of. I mean, I forget what was the title of the article, Mike. It was. What did he say? It's a good idea, or it's safer.
Yeah, well, it's a good idea despite privacy jab.
Right.
Yeah, because. I mean, Google uses all your stuff, and I'm sure Apple uses some of it to a point, but the way Apple does it to me is more randomized, which is why Siri is stupid and pretty much useless, but at least it's not like, you know what I mean? It's kind of crazy how you can look at your Google Maps and see everywhere you went from like years ago. That's crazy.
Right.
And they basically they weren't hiding it, but to like turn that stuff off, you had to like jump through hoops to figure out how to turn this off or turn that, It's, I don't know. And then when you do turn it off, it tells you
it's more of a virtual sign in and nobody's getting your information. Yes.
Well, I'm pretty sure they give like whatever you already have out there. Like, you don't have to keep giving it out. You know what I mean? Like, Apple has it and they forward, it's.
I just see that, Apple has always been self-contained, or the walled garden, as they call it.
Right. Yeah.
And I just can't believe that they would allow.
Oh, but but they still are though, Mike. It's nothing to do with them opening up. It's just they're making it better where you can sign in with Apple. Like you can sign into.
They're not opening it up. They're just making it. It's more of a virtual thing.
Mike, they're making you more closed in, because if they have that and you have an iPhone or whatever, and I don't even think you have to, you can do it on a computer. You can sign in with your Apple information that you already have. So it's kind of, it's making you think like, wow, Apple's really protecting my data. You know what I mean?
I think it is more secure. And obviously the guy from Google agrees too.
You're like, now my email isn't even going to be out there to 8,000 websites. Apple is the one who's going to send me my email. They're going to send it to an iCloud. So if I want to cut this company completely off, I just tap a button and it's gone. You know what I mean? I won't get a Facebook email or to my regular email. It's good. That's a good idea.
Okay. I just was like trying to figure that out.
They're not getting no more. Apple isn't getting no more open or no more, no more nice or none of that. It's still closed off.
Now, Jason Gill is saying, I trust no one. I don't believe iOS is more secure. It's all smoke and mirrors. Apple's sending your information to the Fusion Center terrorist watch list. Okay.
Oh, man. I don't know.
So anyway, it sounds to me like the guy at Google thinks it's a good idea what Apple's doing, and it does sound more secure to me. So I kind of like the idea, And that article is again on CNET under Google says Apple's new sign-in button is a good idea despite privacy jab. So, all right, now Mike,
yo,
you and Motorola.
Yes, Motorola. Yes, Motorola. That it's like that little train that it could get there someday. It could get there. It was there one day. It was there, but a little train it could, and a little train is Go ahead.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it was about to. Well, go ahead. Say the name of the little train.
The Motorola Z4.
Exactly.
And everybody and all the reviewers saying, "Hey, it's the same phone from 2016, I think, now." was it the 4th gen we're up to here?
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, like I was mentioning before, is that I think they're trying to go for that too. You know, and they're still heavily involved with Verizon,
Right.
and I, you know, that it is a gateway to keep you in the Verizon's way, their family.
Yeah. Now keep in mind, this is a mid-range device. It's got a price tag of $499, or as low as $240 if you're buying from Verizon and starting a new line.
And it's $10 a month. I think it works out to be if you started, a new service with them.
Yeah. And
So-
of course, one of its main things is that it does take the moto mods, but everybody is saying the moto mods don't fit on this phone
right.
as well as they did on previous generations.
Right. They were saying that, and now see, I'm looking here. Now I've seen people say the fingerprint sensor is great. It's nice.
Right.
It's under the screen. They
Right.
try to modernize it, make it more modern with the fingerprint sensor versus
Right.
the last one, which was on the side, which I thought is a pretty neat concept personally. And you
Well,
have an S10e, I thought that
I love my side fingerprint sensor on the S10e. It works great and it works all the time.
time, right, and I don't know. It's time to push more. Get away from the Z line. They made it for all this time, or make a different phone that's going to accept the mods. The existing mods.
I think the mods are dead, Mike.
I agree.
The mods are dead. The mods are holding them back. Like they can't even change the design of the phone.
Yeah, because of those mods. Yeah, and I have the sound mod for my Moto Z2 Play, and it works great and it sounds great. But I agree. I think the whole mod thing is holding them back big time at this point.
The same thing happened with
What's that?
the mods. That
Say it again,
you're saying that the mods are holding Motorola back, but the same thing happened with the LG G5, right? The mods didn't help the phone.
Yeah, but at least Motorola's mods work.
LG was smart. They just abandoned the whole thing.
Yeah, that was
Motorola's they're selling phones to say they're profitable now, but they're holding on to the mods, and they thought
for 3 years now or 4 years.
I think it's been 3. I think it's 3. But they thought that people were going to be developing mods for it, and it was going to.
They really try to push that.
And,
they really try to push that.
I don't know. Just the fact that these mods don't even fit as nice as what everybody's saying. It's just give it up. Just hang it up. Just get rid of the mods.
Of course, what allowed them to hang in there this long is they're a Lenovo company. Well, Lenovo can absorb a little loss, that happened to come along, and they can still produce the phone. But I agree. I think it's time to end it. I think the Z line is done.
Well, also though, too, is we're forgetting that it's going to work on 5G. You just got to get the mod.
Okay, yeah, get the mod.
All right, you got to get the mod. You got to be on Verizon.
It's free, I think, right? Isn't it free if you have Verizon or something like that?
I think they might be having some deals with it. Yeah, like free. I know they're throwing in the 360 camera right at the moment.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Now, keep in mind, folks, it may sound like Mike and I are knocking Moto, but both Mike and I are big Moto fans. Here's my Moto 7 Plus.
Here's my X4. Yeah. I might have to press this into service for my friend for a few days. I know I can turn to this, and heck, I got a few other the G5 Plus.
Yeah, and I've got another one back here. Oh, here. I've still got my what's the Moto? Which one is this?
Does that the pins? It looks big.
This is the it's because of the case I have on it.
The six.
No. This is
they all look the
same. Well, yeah, this is not
E.
Moto.
Oh, the Moto E. The Moto E.
This is the E4. We are Moto fans, but I just think the Moto mod thing has worn itself out. Yeah.
I love the first Moto X. Remember that one, Mike? I think it was the first one or the second one. They had it in the AT&T, and it was the one before the Pure. The one before the Pure edition.
Right. That's the
I
one
love
my
that.
son had. That's the one my son had the second gen Moto X. He wore that out. Literally, he wore it out until
I wish they would have stayed with that, where you could customize your phone.
Yes.
And
Everybody loved that.
you know,
Yeah.
that was
I think that
was
phone
the
was
good times. That
5
was the good
something
time.
unlocked when I bought it.
Yeah.
That was the best phone.
Shouldn't do that.
phone was
You
good.
took my musician's mind. My mind went, good times. These are the good times.
That phone was great, man. They should have stayed with that design. You was able to go to Moto Maker and make your own phone and choose your
people
back.
hated it when they took that away. I remember.
Yeah,
that.
they messed up, man.
Yeah,
They ruined it for me after that.
Yep.
They ruined it after that.
I know the thing that they should focus on is, I know they have a Android One phone. And I'm trying to look it up right now. And I don't know.
Who had that? Was it Serrano who had?
Toronto's got one that's imported, I believe.
Right.
But there's one here in America. I'm trying to find it right now. What it's called?
Wouldn't it be on Amazon?
No, at least maybe Best Buy has it too. I'm trying to get to it.
Let me see if I can find it.
Moto X4, refreshingly simple, secure, and smart, introducing the latest device to join Google Fi network.
Which one is this?
That's Moto X4. And
yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Here on Amazon, Moto X4 Android One Edition, $199.
Oh, Serrano's in here.
Oh, Serrano's in here?
Yeah, he said the Motorola One.
Motorola One, he's saying.
That's the phone they need to concentrate. That's where they should start off with. And that's a pretty, again, offering Android One here in America's.
Yeah, here it is it's an Amazon choice, Motorola Moto One.
Yeah, here it is. Motorola Moto One 64 gig in white for like $275.
Well, Amazon Choice has it for $194.99. And there's another one for $180. So you certainly can beat that something price.
Right. And I know though too. If the professor was here, he'd probably be saying, because it seemed like it's really easy to do all kinds of custom stuff on a Moto phone too.
Oh, wow, the white one looks nice. It doesn't look like the other ones. It does look all right.
You look at the Moto One.
It don't have that big camera in the middle. I don't like that.
No, it's offset.
It's got the stem off.
It's got a notch.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It has a pretty big notch.
It came out in the time. Yeah, it came out in the time when the notches were hot.
So you're notch liking that, huh? Okay, sorry.
No, he ain't not. It's not notch for him.
Yeah, nah, I'm just saying it looks funny with the notch. Looks like a Pixel a little bit, but the Pixel is way.
It's a bit dated now.
Six got the sound effects, fool.
Yeah, he does. He's killing it with it. So
Six is ready.
So, Mike, you said this is an Android One, so this gets all the updates, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that ain't bad.
And so it's really super clean. I don't know if it's going to have the Moto features in it. You know what I mean?
It got to. That's the only man. That's what makes Motorola with the. They're always on display and all that is nice.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Or their notifications, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that is AT&T, T-Mobile, and not Verizon or Sprint.
Right. Right.
That's
GSM.
Yeah.
So I still got a big soft. It's getting bigger and softer and mushier in my heart for the Moto line. So
yeah. So we both have that love for the Moto.
Yeah. I don't want to reveal too much. I kind of say how I feel about it. I just turned to this phone a little bit more than the other phone that I was reviewing, and I don't know. It just I like how clean it is. And this is an Android One phone, and seems like to me when you kind of get an idea like the Pixel gets their updates first because I see it, and then all of a sudden a few days or weeks later, I've gotten security patches on it ever since I've had
same
this
thing
phone.
with my Nokia 6.1 and Nokia 7.1 because they're both Android 1
Yeah,
phones
but they
also.
don't come right around the 5th, do they, George? They come like maybe 10 days, 11, 12 days later.
Yeah, that sounds
Because
about right.
the Pixel, man, they generally they seem to hit pretty fast.
Yes,
Now,
we do.
Mike, I just looked at the chat, right?
Yeah.
And Night Tech said, just get a Pixel 3A. See, this is
right,
me,
and
Mike.
and they make comment about that. Yeah.
I'm down with that, Anthony.
Now, Mike, this is my problem with the Pixel though. Like the camera's great, but the software. See how they got Android 1. You can get the software pretty much, you know what I mean? Like on a Motorola phone. That's what I'm saying.
True.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Google does, I don't know.
Right, and right.
And the Nokia Android 1
A Nokia phone, yeah, Nokia,
yeah.
And now that you can get them all on Project 5.
Even the Nokia 9, same deal,
So
before
you're
Project
right.
5 used to be like something that you could get you had to get a Pixel to have 5. Now you can get it with any phone. You won't switch networks, but you can get it with any phone now. Like
right.
And,
certain phones will work on their network to get the full feature.
Right.
Yeah, but they have a whole bunch of them on the site now. I think they work with the switching networks. As long as you get it from their site. But you can I can put a Project 5 SIM on an iPhone now, and I'll just be on T-Mobile.
Now, who's used Project 5 here?
I have.
Okay. And did you like it?
Yeah, it's all right, but it's expensive.
Yeah, it's
expensive
pricey,
if you use data. It's expensive, but I think George, if you do it like, all right, I seen some like on Twitter, like some of the like Android Central, those kind of people in the office, they'll say what they did was, let's say you get Project 5. I think they let you have like 6 data only SIMs or something on one account. So if you get Project 5, the most your bill is going to be is $80 for your data and your phone. And then if you get the data only SIM, they said they were able to use like one account and have like 6 data only SIMs. So you could put a SIM in like 5 iPads. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
You can just order a whole bunch of SIMs and you have data on all your iPads and you're only paying $80. So if you do it that kind of if you do it like that, I guess it's not that bad, but
not that creative.
George is like, I'm too honest.
That's true.
But I mean, yeah, it's expensive though. If you travel, I guess it's good. Or if you're not using a lot of data.
Yeah, the travel.
They all rave about it when they're traveling. That's true.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we've exhausted our topic.
He said lockdown now.
So, unless anybody's got something else.
No. I'm happy to see this week though. We were talking about this earlier. I said it was not drama-filled week in the world of
on tech. You mean on
tech
YouTube?
and YouTube?
Oh, you mean we didn't have the constant Huawei stories and the constant battle?
Yeah, well, just yeah, and YouTubers, pardon my French, pissing and moaning over some other YouTuber and stuff like that.
Or fighting with each other constantly, yeah.
Yeah, it was quite refreshing, with that stuff. So
that's true.
Don't worry, Mike. It's not over yet.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is the quiet time. This is the quiet stretch until we get to.
Don't worry.
I mean, things will get ramped up towards the end of July.
Well, let's hope people are just getting nicer to each other. That's my hope.
Well, I hope so too. Oh, that'd be great if people get nicer to each other and just but people take these phones things a little too seriously too.
Well,
you know what I mean? But I'm also what I was referring to at the end of July is we don't know the date yet exactly for August for the Note, but it's been these people give these little things out just to stir up controversy.
I agree.
I wonder if Google is just trolling us by giving us saying, "Yep, that's it. That's the picture. That's the phone."
I guess that's what it's going to be.
I'm telling you, one of these times they're going to do it. One of these times they're going to do it. They're going to say they're going to make us all think it is.
So, Mike, when you know the date, make a note of it, will you?
Oh, okay.
Mike, have you? I'm talking in the chat. Have you ever tried to use Duplex, Mike, to make a reservation? I used it for Olive Garden a while ago. It
Right, you
works
did.
good.
No,
Yeah.
I gotta
You ever
try.
use it? It's nice, Mike. You tell it to do it, and it'll,
But the
it'll be
time
like,
you used it, Will, you took it right to the end, and then you didn't make the reservation, right?
no, I used it one time after that. You just
and
tell
you
it
did make the
to
reservation.
make your reservation, and it asks you the question just like it did on the keynote, and
Right.
then it'll tell you like we'll email you in 15 minutes
And it
and
does.
let you know, it emails you and tells you your reservation is confirmed. And when I went, it was fine. They had my table, And then after, Google emailed me later and was like, how was your experience using the service?
Okay.
Yeah. Will. Well, wait a minute. What phone did you use?
The iPhone.
Oh, did you? Okay. No, I wasn't sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
how'd
you can do it from the iPhone. You just have to go to the app.
It doesn't matter what phone you use, right?
Yeah, because Google just gives it to everybody. Yeah.
But
Because
you
again,
have to open up the Google app itself.
Yeah, just like if you were using to speak into Google and you just tell
Okay.
it, make me a reservation,
All right. We gotta see if we'll take a reservation at that Aztec Mexican place.
so with any
Oh,
Android
okay.
phone, you just hit your Google Assistant button and go for it, right?
Okay. I gotta check that out. Oh yeah. Yo, Will, it's time to get some Mexican food.
Gary Brown is saying, I used Duplex for a 5-star restaurant. I ended up washing dishes, but it was real nice.
Oh man.
But he's really dishing it out now, isn't he?
Ba-dum-bum.
Damn it, wait.
There you go.
Thank
There
you. Thank you, Six. Oh, I knew I could depend on you.
Thank
We're
you,
going
sir.
to I'll get my brother, you two can share a little, maybe a wah wah wah, something like that, okay.
You mean wah, 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 wah? Oh no, that's Charlie Brown. Never mind.
Yeah. Exactly. So
All right, I guess we're done, folks.
I'm good.
15 minutes
So-
early.
All right, so we're going to say our good nights. Six, you want to go first? Oh, and by the way, before you start, am I right in saying we're going to be on your channel next week? I'm asking. I'm not telling. I'm asking.
Sure.
Or are we going to Mike next week?
Well,
Six got it. It's easy. If I learned how to do it.
yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll
I'll
let you
I'll
know.
learn how to do it.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
It's easy.
so probability is we are going to be on Six's channel next week. So please be looking for that. So Six, you go ahead and say your good night.
Well, good night, everyone. I'll be probably not 99%.
funny,
There you go. All right. I didn't mean to put him on the spot. I just thought that's where we were going.
No, it's fine. It's cool. It's cool.
Okay.
It's everybody's got to take a turn, right, guys?
Now, keep in mind, we're
Exactly.
talking about a guy who likes to box more than me. So if you see me black and blue next week, you'll know who did it. Folks, okay?
Right? Six is coming to your house, George.
Exactly. All right.
All
Will,
right.
you're next.
Yeah.
Will, you're
good
right.
night, everybody. Everybody have a good weekend. It's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. George, Mike, everybody in the room. And see y'all next week.
And Mike.
I'm Mike Dixon, the Simply Device. Fresh new videos every Wednesday. And I'm putting right now in the chat Six's link to his channel. He's at 26 subs. We got to get him up. We got to get him up there, okay? I'll see you guys in the next video.
And of course, I'm Mobile Geezer, and we're here every week. Of course, we'll be with Six next week. And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook.
Yes.
The website's mobilegeezer.wordpress.com, and I promised I will get an article up this weekend. So thanks for coming, and go ahead, Mike.
Mike, one question before we leave. You said new video every Wednesday.
Right.
That's what he said.
All right.
Have I done a new video every Wednesday?
You've been doing it.
The last few,
Okay.
yes, you have.
You got
Yes,
on
you
you
have.
for the last one. He said something about what did you say? 2 months old or something? He said.
Well, you started. The one was you got the phone in January and you released it in June, and you were doing it in March, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little, hey, I'm packing them up. I pack a whole bunch of videos and I'm getting them to get them out there.
So what you should have named the series is Back to the Future.
Yeah, really. Yeah, really. Without a doubt, I saw 2 people out there. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Everybody
Happy Father's
definitely great Father's Day.
Thanks for coming in, and we'll see you all next week.
Everybody for the super chat. We got 14
Thank you
thumbs
very
up.
much.